Here goes. Yeah.
Why don't you say have a chair?
All right, everybody. We're going to have about 5 minutes before the program starts. We'll cover the course real quickly just so we can show you what we're going to be doing over the next hour. Now, we prepare the course in Cincinnati and bring them with us. First of all, I want to explain on the Foundry. This is rather unique. This is the first traveling bell foundry in the world, and because you can't go to the catalog and buy equipment for bell foundries on wheels, we basically made everything that you see here. Everything was designed by Verdin and made exclusively for what we are doing. This contraption up here is actually the furnace. It is propane fired. It melts about 500 pounds of metal, bronze metal, which is 80% copper, 20% tin. It takes us about 3 hours to burn, to melt the metal, to get it up to 2200 degrees. We're going to try to time it so that we hit 2200 degrees right a couple minutes before 6 o'clock when we cast the bell. Now, we're burning propane. We are burning about 1 million BTUs an hour for 3 hours, so that's a lot of gas grills. Here are the cores that, the sand cores that are actually where we're going to cast the bell. These cores will be stacked on this metal inside this metal box, and they are formed, and then we backfill with sand to keep everything together. We'll take the flask off so you can actually see what's going on. Now, these cores are made of sand, a very, very fine sand with a high temperature epoxy to glue it all together. This will withstand the 2200 degree metal. Now, the reason that we had them covered, the cores covered, and they have that saran wrap looking material over them, is to keep them dry. It's imperative that the cores be kept dry. Any moisture in the cores could actually be a little dangerous, but certainly we would form bubbles on the surface of the bell with any moisture that would be in the cores. So through all this afternoon, we will be drying things with propane torches to make sure there's no humidity, no water in the cores. If there would be 2 or 3 drops of water left in the cores, when we poured the metal, it would actually explode, is a nice word. So we're very, very careful about keeping things dry. Now, this afternoon, it ought to be a spectacular pouring because it'll be after dark. So you can see the glow of the orange, of the bronze as we pour it into the mold. What we will do tonight, you see this small ladle, this bucket underneath here. After the metal is at the proper temperature, we will take the ladle and attach it to the two ears on the furnace. We will then rotate the furnace and dump the metal into the ladle, take the ladle by the crane, move it over to the pouring basin, and pour it in into the mold. The idea is to pour the mold filled as soon as possible. We don't want any period of time without metal flowing into the mold, or we'll end up with a bad bell. Now the flask, they're going to remove right now so they can start to stack the cores. This thing is about as heavy duty as you can imagine. There is a great deal of pressure when you pour metal, so we want everything safe. Normally you don't melt metal and cast in front of a crowd of people, so we want everything as safe as possible. Now the thing that looks like a bell is the inside core. This is again made of sand with a high temperature resin, and that represents the inside shape of the bell. These cores will be stacked over the top of that, and the air space between the two is where the molten bronze will go, forming the bell. Now there are different colors. This is a different color than these cores, simply because that has any of the core that is exposed to the molten bronze has a special Teflon-like material coating it. You'll also notice that Tim is using air to clean off, get all the debris, all the loose sand off of the surface that'll receive the cast bronze metal. Cleanliness keeps the casting looking a lot better. If there's any questions through any of this, certainly feel free to ask. Alright, we're going to take the bottom core and stack it